going on, people? Yours truly, Cut the British Pussy, officially in the building. This is Extra Time Friday. Episode catch-up? It's 4 anyway. But anyway, so today's show is simply a chef special with an English rose to top it off. And we ain't done, because for dessert, we've got a bad Bialis. So on that note, kick back, relax, enjoy yourselves. That's hot.
Tires or that big, abominable looking snowman type character.
Yeah.
That's
but
another
if you do
context.
eat the food regular, you know what I mean?
You might end up like
you'll diabetes. But so like Great British Menu, BBC Two, and as you've seen some of the foods displayed to the audience. I mean, I'm looking forward to having conversations with him. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Kerth Gumbs, ladies and gentlemen. Kerth Gumbs.
Hey guys.
AKA T-Pain in his alias.
Auto-tune.
I'm going to introduce another guy as well, just to keep you your company. So the next guy, you actually know him pretty well, you know what I mean, from back in the day. And I've met this guy at a good friend's house, but he cooks for a lot of high-end individuals and makes them feel very, very full, but nice full. And I never realised you could do so much things with a piece of chicken until I met this guy. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Cheff King in the building. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you for having us.
Nice, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. So look, I want to let's get down to it. I want to ask a question to you both. As you're both chefs and you're both top quality chefs, is there like a rivalry between chefs around the world? So if you see someone who's a similar, you give them like a cut eye or look upon him and said, "What a cat."
You know what? I actually think there is rivalry. However, I don't think that it's a bad thing, because I think it helps to push you out of your comfort zone. You learn a lot of things from being in the front, because you're always trying to compete to stay in the front, or you learn things from being at the back, because you get a chance to see what other people are doing in the front. Me personally, I use it as a motivational factor, a tool in my kitchens to help to pair up younger chefs with more established chefs to help to bring up more of their confidence. So again, rivalry, I think it is a good thing, but it is something that is there, and I think it will continue to be there, because almost everything you do in life, there is competition, emphasis on that. You bring up a new dish, somebody is going to copy that and try to make it better. You bring up a new restaurant, there's somebody's going to do another concept. Whatever it is, it keeps going and going and going. So yeah, there is definitely rivalry.
Healthy rivalry, though.
Healthy rivalry, yeah.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. Good, healthy competition is, I think, is the ethos here. I think in any creative sport, entertainment, you've got a little bit of competition. And like Gerv said, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. You're once you have that element of competition, you want to keep going and getting better and getting better and getting better. And of course, there's the rivalry. You'll see something, you think, oh, I could have done it a little bit better. But I think that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So, yeah.
I mean, you guys brought Chef King on here. First time I've met him, I didn't even know he was going to be here.
Right.
I was like, I thought I was going to be the chef today.
Right.
But,
we had words backstage.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to lie to you, I was thinking that as a production, we was going to say that, so they both bring food, and I was like, I'm not able for those kind of rivalry or fight, just in case. I don't really like that kind of stuff. That's why I just brought you out and we've shown the images of some of the food you've done. Right. And speaking about that, making foods, creating foods, one of the things I love about both of what you do is the fact of how you display your food. How important is displaying the display of the food?
Presentation.
That's the word I was looking for.
I see what you mean. Presentation is paramount. I think, as Gerth will tell you as well, in anything, people eat with their eyes before they taste with their palates. So if it doesn't look right on the plate, or something's, there's a little bit more of something else than the other, it throws the plate off balance. Presentation for me, is everything. So, yeah.
Definitely, I must say, I'm going to put two of my hands up and I would have put my feet up if I could. But definitely, presentation plays a lot into enticing people to come into, the restaurant or the food that you're doing. And I like to believe that everyone that sees something, back in the day, whether it's on Great British Menu or it's MasterChef or whatever it is, these things help to make people transport to a different place and say, like, you know what? that looks amazing, and it's just going to be there in West London, or it's just going to be there in wherever, and I can make myself available to go there because I've seen it. Not just because of what they hear, because of what they see first. And then they hoping to have that same, taste factor experience come through your television screen and onto your plate in front of you for the first time. So definitely it plays a big role.
Yeah. Certainly for me, it's like, you go to a restaurant, a plate comes in front of you. If it looks enticing, then you're more inclined to want to dive in. If it's it's not quite pretty enough, then it might taste great, but you've already kind of got this preconceived idea, right? And a reservation, because food is so important.
No, I've had to retrain my brain when it comes to food. So we're all from a generation where food it filled the plate. You know what I mean? Okay. And it was like that was the food it was given, and that food's got to last you. And as years later, type 2 diabetes kicks in, you realise I don't need to eat that much. You know what I mean? So how do you measure like what is ideal to full, but can make you continue throughout the day?
Personally, I think I like the concept. It's food that I've done, the food that I've been trained to do, what I like to serve, is tasting menu concepts. Again, a lot of times you come to a restaurant, it depends on your background, your culture. Like you said before, you like a food to be filled, but that's just your concept, your perception of it. Because I think many times I had friends from my country and from different places come into the restaurant and we think, look, I really want to try your food, but I think I'm going to have McDonald's after. And I said, just come, I'm sure you want it. And I guarantee you, maybe 92% of the times, I'll come over to the table at the ending for petty first and say, so you want me to keep going? And they'll be like, no, I'm good, I'm actually really full. Because why? We have many different courses, different ingredients used, different flavors. You're tapping into the palate, you're having a conversation, you're having an experience, you're drinking wine. Your mind is telling you that you're enjoying yourself, and that is fulfillment. And you leave there on a healthier note, not saying that I've just, devoured, a mountain of rice and peas and stewed chicken or whatever it is that you be into. And you left there with a bit of an experience, a bit of knowledge, and a array of different flavors that is now into your memory bank.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, King, because you cook and you prepare meals for some high-end celebrities and that. So do you have to have like a doctor or a patient going into surgery? Do you speak to your clients beforehand of what their taste buds are like and what they've grown up with, so you know?
Absolutely. I think just based off of what you're saying, if someone is there a particular diet plan? Is that what you're asking? Is there a particular diet plan?
Or the food they've liked or they've grown up with, so you know
what I try
depending on their schedules and that.
I always try and develop a menu based off the client's background, cultural background. So in terms of West African or East African, whatever, Caribbean, I always try and infuse that into the diet plan, the meal plan. It's something that they know, they grow up on, the flavour.
They can relate to it.
They can relate to it. The flavour palettes, the profiles there. So I'll take that and I'll balance it and make it slightly more healthier. Because I think there's a myth that our food is not the healthiest when it's presented or even cooked, oil and stuff like that. But there's ways we can do our food, turn it into a healthy plate, essentially. But by just eliminating a few elements or substituting a few elements in the food. It totally depends on the type of client I'm working with.
What about yourself? Do you look at it like when you're serving? Because this is one of the things when you serve for like your family, it's coming from the heart. But when you cook for multiple people in a restaurant. So how do you keep that same love?
Most of all, I think in a restaurant, especially being here in the UK, and for the style of food we do at the level that we do it, we have to run a lot on seasonality. And from time you're already following that guideline of seasonality, you have certain months for this, 2 to 3 months for that, and that as well helps you to incorporate new dishes and ideas all the time. And even so as well, it changes with the people that you have coming, that you're hiring and cooking your food for you, that's coming into the kitchen. It's based on their strengths and their weaknesses. Because it doesn't make sense that I cook food that only me can do and only me can recreate. I have to be able to that my pastry chef or my commis chef can do the same thing like my sous chef. Obviously, there's certain levels of management and so forth involved for the execution, but ideally, that everyone has to be able to have these certain levels of strengths to be able to use different ingredients from different seasons, whether it's game season, which is coming now and so forth. But you think about these things first. Obviously, if anybody really has a allergen or a dietary requirement, you do me the favor. Let me know 48 hours in advance.
You need to know that. We need to know your dietaries. Don't come in and be like, oh, I'm a vegan. You didn't tell anyone. Like, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah. I mean, we try to,
we always try.
Yeah, we cover the bases. Yeah. But obviously, like I said, we are in a society now where people are flexitarians, and that wasn't a part of
that part.
You know what I mean? But flexitarians, they can eat this on a Monday, but then they eat that on a Friday, and they change it left, right, and center. Got me just, rollerblading all around trying to figure out what is this person gonna have today. Yeah. But anyways, we really get down and try to accommodate as much as possible. I mean, the guest experience is paramount to what we do. And it keeps us on our toes as well with creativity, and some chefs really enjoy it, like myself, and others maybe a little bit not so much. But we all gotta be ever evolving with menu engineering.
I love that, menu engineering.
That's very good.
I
agree with that.
I've learned a few terms here: menu engineering. Balanced, healthy plates. Flavor profile.
That sounds sexy. Say it again.
Flavor profile.
Flavor profile.
You got flavor profile.
Look at that.
Flavor profile. I love that flavor profile. That's going to be...
I need to ask, because wonderful co-host Janelle is just you look good.
Thank you.
You look
the whole season.
Thanks.
Good.
Right. Can food seduce a woman?
Absolutely.
That's just for me personally.
You're getting into
Why are you asking
territories
me?
here.
Asking me?
No, but I want to just...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we just said, people eat with their eyes first, right?
Yes.
So, you get a sexy plate of food.
Oh.
Okay, look, you see? Right. You see?
If a guy can really just throw it down in the kitchen...
You know I was married to a chef. Divorced, by the way, but... Happily divorced as well. But I married a chef.
Just put that out there. Put it out there.
Right, just put it out there.
Yeah, no, but so...
And he's a very good chef.
Was that... Does that do it for a woman? Because most women are like, I like a man good pair of shoes.
Would I say that it was part of the whole, the man I'm looking for has to put a sexy, healthy, balanced, flavour profiled plate in front of me? Probably not. But when that plate comes, it's something that you
I got something
remember.
very interesting to add. I mean, as well, something that I'm passionate about. I started my career tampering with different things, and that's as well as understanding the different vessels of what can be a plate and the different contours of where you can consume food from. So I tampered around with a little bit of naotorami, which is basically I did my food and what I do now, but played it on bodies, human bodies. And it could be a female, it could be a male, because I don't limit my creativity based on gender. And yes, controversially, people can say it's sexist, it's this and that, but why does it have to be a plate? It could be this table, it could be the good body here, it could be whatever, and
as long as it ain't like oxtail.
Don't look oxtail,
No, that's
one of my favourites too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying oxtail on the body.
It has to be done properly.
I love my oxtail.
You can't eat oxtail from anyone.
Yeah, and it has to actually come away from the bone. Come on, right? When you're
well, that's why I go into the ox cheek. Have you had ox cheek?
I've never had ox cheek, but I've had braised.
Really tender.
Ox cheek is, I mean, it's maybe the little class up from the oxtail. You don't have the bone, but the cheek, it really melts away.
Was food always something that was really important to you both and that you were interested in and enjoyed being involved in creating from your childhood?
Take it over, King.
For me, definitely. I think my earliest memory of cooking was watching my dad cook. And I'm one of 5 and I'm the only boy, all right? So that's the interesting part. But I saw my dad cook. It was like a Sunday breakfast, and he did the beans, the sausages, the eggs, it was just a fry up. But it was dad cooking it as opposed to mum. Mum's a great cook, but dad's cooking. I was like, oh my God, what is this? I saw him do it, and I was like, I want to do what he does. I want to be able to do that. And then I guess for me, that just developed over the years. And friends come around, I cook a dinner for him, cook a Sunday dinner for him, cook a breakfast for him, and I was like, I like this. And I grew with it. So it's always been in my family. Obviously, I watch mum cook as well. So in terms of the palate, the flavour profile we were talking about, the palate. So my culinary references are West African. So there's a lot of jollof rice, there's pounded yam, there's egusi, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, which now what I do is I infuse into the fibres of what I do now. However, I also have the West Indian influence as well, because where I grew up, as you will know, we grew up in the same area, the diaspora was West African, Caribbean, Asian. There was a whole bunch of us. So my food references are from all of these parts of the world. So, yeah.
Excellent.
You know what I really, you mentioned like cheekbone.
Ox cheek.
Ox cheek. And it's like, for me, it's like, you look at the cow or the bull, and I always say to myself is there any part of an animal, or a cow, or a bull, you just say, I ain't going there? Because I love cow foot soup.
Cow foot.
Cow foot soup, yeah, but beans and that, I really, and that's a food for make me like, if I'm not feeling too good.
It's your comfort.
It's a comfort food.
Comfort, yeah.
But I always say to myself, who came up with the concept to put a cow foot? It's just like, you know what? I've had side beef. That foot look kind of right. Yeah, still. Just
So you're like one of those who have chicken foot in your soup.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
As you say in Barbados, steppers.
Oh, I
Oh,
tell
is
you.
it steppers?
In Barbados, it's called steppers.
Nah, I can't do the chicken foot in my soup.
Really?
I like the chicken soup, but I ain't doing no chicken foot in my soup.
I'm not doing that.
This is sacrilege. You
No.
guys
No,
are
I'm
dissing
not
the
doing
chicken
No,
foot.
no, no,
Listen,
no.
it's
Give me the chicken.
not
I want
what
a
I-
foot.
The chicken.
You want a
That
chicken
part.
foot in my
I'm
soup.
not-
Enough time I go to the places and I
Yeah.
buy Caribbean soup. I love my Caribbean soup
take
with
it
the
out.
dumplings. I just
Take
say,
it out.
let me get a large chicken soup, no foot.
Foot.
I got to tell him no foot.
No.
And I'm going home to eat and I'm digging
I don't
onto the
wanna
back and I
see
see that foot come and say,
swimming
man.
Do you know what it is though? The actual look of it is not appealing at all.
Very
So back,
unappetizing.
it's very unappetizing. But you see, once you taste that, and then you get down to the
We
bone.
get the taste, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can
We
try
get the taste.
anything, but on my preference, I don't want it. I mean, I lived in Singapore for a couple of years, and over there they have, deep fried chicken foot, sweet and sour chicken foot. They got every type of foot, and they eat everything over there. But I don't want that in my soup.
Do you know what? There was I was in Barbados one time, and I can say this now because she's married and got kids. But one of my aunt's friends, as you get you on holiday in it, so you used to have a little romance, and she said, "Come over and get a cookie saying to eat." Yeah, so I was like, "Alright," I was like, "Go around there." So I was like, "I'm gonna eat this food. We're gonna go under the thing," and then she's had this soup on the pot. I was like, it smelled good. Like I said, you just mentioned anyone, it's not to the eye.
Not to the
I
eye.
saw the soup, yeah, and she's there, and then I saw this claw just, it's coming out. Can we just go to bed?
On an empty stomach.
An empty stomach, yeah.
But you know what? Back to your question about this whole how did we end up eating feet? That's let's be serious about it. You mentioned the diaspora, and we're all from either Caribbean or African diaspora, right? And back, with our ancestors, forebears and whatever, they didn't have a choice. They actually were given the offcuts of meat, the cheapest parts of the meat, which would be the tail and the foot and
Tongue.
the head and the tongue and all these bits and pieces. All the offal, right? And through our creativity as people, and our passion for good living, really, we were able to take those foods and make them taste damn good.
No, you're right.
And that's how it came about. That's how we ended up eating cow foot.
Yeah, no, it just shows us as black people that we are so imaginative when it comes to foods. I mean, you can take like cow foot and add the spices to it, and bring out flavors. You know what I mean? Like just sit there and look at a lamb tongue or something like that. But if you put it in some nice spices, it's on point.
Not only that, like putting it in different spices, I think as well as, especially in this day and age, reintroducing it to us in a different way than we explain. Cause a lot of times people was like, they put themselves back, like they don't want to do fine dining because they think it's a small portions. Or I don't want to eat this because they remember it looking or being this certain way. And when you do innovation on that, which I think is a big part of evolving as a community, we are able to reintroduce certain things that was brought to you in this method, but then you got it in something completely new and unheard of. And that kind of can still trigger the nostalgia based on the taste, based on the smell, but the presentation of it, again, eating with your eyes, something maybe completely different. and that's elevating not just the palate, but as well we as people in the etiquette of dining. So I think it's important.
Definitely.
Before we wrap up, I just want to ask you both this, even yourself. You cook for an array of people. Yeah, and you have as far as I'm aware, there's no people who doesn't like what you deliver. Is there a person you say, I'm going to struggle, your biggest critic of your food, as in not in a disrespectful way, but it's something you struggle to cook for, and not including mummy? Because of mummy.
Personally, no, because I will always try and do something just to please that person or who I'm cooking for. Obviously, there's a consultation process before I do the menu for whoever I'm cooking it for. So we're going to go through all the things you don't like. So I'm not going to have any of those things on the menu. And if one of the things does happen to prop up on the menu, which is very unlikely, I will know how to alter it and make it pleasing to the palate. So for me personally, I can say no.
I think now at this stage of my career, not too much. I welcome new criticism, whether it's a new employer, whether it's a new collaboration. You're always going to be a little bit out of your comfort zone because you got to learn to understand, whether even the location of where you're cooking, you got to understand your clientele that's going to come to the restaurant. So this will be ever changing. After the first month, it's not going to be the same as it's going to be month 3 or month 4 down the line. And knowing the people that are coming in and what they like and what they dislike. So I wouldn't say that I find it difficult to cook for some people. I think nerves are as well. You're supposed to have them, to be able to. If you're just doing things that you're just going to be in a comfort zone always, that means you're really not pushing yourself. So
Nerves are good.
Yeah, I can cook for my twins. I can cook for them. I can cook for my daughter. Whatever the case is, I mean, they might be not going to like everything, but as they go along, they will be for sure be able to try a lot of things that you wouldn't normally give kids. Expose them to that from very young. And if they grow up and they decide that I dislike it, as opposed to just the spinach or the tomatoes and the broccoli. No, I give them caviar. I give them, frog's legs. I give them whatever I'm having. They can have it too. They can try it.
Man and chicken.
Yeah,
and I have that as well. Like from coming up in the Caribbean, I watch my mom cook for so many different people. I mean, she would go to weddings. She would go to bar mitzvahs. She would go to birthday parties. She would go to a funeral, and people would be saying, "Hey, Daphne, you must come back. We gotta do this again." I was like, I don't think you gotta do it again. Someone just died, But they this, she was making people happy through food. And I mean, we can go really deep into how you fall in love with food, etc. Like another story is like, for me, going to school, you always had a choice to choose like of 3 or 4 subjects. That was compulsory. For me, it was home economics, it was, food nutrition, woodwork, auto mechanics. And I was doing like my personal assessment, just walking around, deciding which of these compulsory subjects I'm going to choose to do. And I'm going on to the food, the auto mechanics, and I'm watching loads of boys just in there, hanging away, being oily, just being bros, talking about cars. You go to the woodwork, people are, chiseling, sawing stuff, sawdust all over the place, again, dominated by boys. Okay, cool, I'm walking over to food nutrition class, I'm looking into the window, teachers are talking, I look in there, I saw 16 girls, 2 boys. I was like, whoop, that's me, okay, sign me up. But slowly, after that, I got into there, even whatever, pulled you in. The teachers, again, with the rivalry, they were like, okay, 3 boys against the girls. And they were giving us and it was like, oh, you guys are actually doing better than the girls, even though it was more dominated by girls. And, you end up falling in love with that because you had the motivation, you stand out as a minority in the class, in a sense. And, that from one story to the next, it just helped you to continue to... Because, you do the other classes, it's just boys being bros. And you're not going to really have, like, to stand off so much. But when you're doing something, and I'm like, on the plus side, you can eat what you cook. Things was hard back growing up, I was like looking forward to every Friday taking home some kind of treat, whether it's a sugar cake or it's actual, whatever. So yeah.
That's amazing. So like, I wanna, what have you got coming up for yourself?
So recently just got involved with the Porto Noir Champagne Bar, which is a mutual friend of ours, Idris Elba and David
right,
Farber.
I've heard of him.
So I was recently involved in that project. It's a champagne bar which they launched in King's Cross in Calder Yard. Follow it on Instagram, Porto Noir KX King's Cross. It's a fantastic champagne bar. First black-owned champagne brand that I know of. Anyway.
Can we just do?
So that's a privilege to be a part of. It's one I hold close to my heart.
Proud of you, obviously proud of my boy, and proud of yourselves as well, man. You know what I mean? You're doing things and you're representing the culture. That's what the show's all about.
I would say, thank you guys as well for having me here. It's it's quite a pleasure. You guys have been warming, and love to see the beautiful energy, the smiles, and everything. I think that's something that Caribbean people do, or West African. We just really bring that vibe. So it's good, but it actually goes deeper, and I'm looking forward for a season 2 because again, these stories are just the introduction. I think King has a lot more to offer. I know I do have a lot more to say. So again,
So I guess what we're saying is the next time we have these guys on, they have to come and do a cooking demonstration.
No doubt.
And I will be chief taster.
We'd love to.
If that's
I'd
okay.
definitely love to.
let's get high ceilings, high extraction. Let's flambe this.
Yeah, get Gordon Ramsay to judge.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, give me a round of applause. Give it up for Kerth, Gumbs and Cheff King, right, people? Well, I enjoyed that. You know what I mean? Watching those two guys talk about food made me a little bit peckish.
Oh no, I could hear your stomach rumbling, Quincy. They didn't bring any snacks though for us. Not even a few canapes.
I haven't got the budget for that. Yeah, so
Next time.
All
All right.
Next time.
You heard it here. Next time.
All right. So who's closing the show today?
Well, I'm really excited to introduce our next guest. She is an actress, a comedian, and a writer. It is Verona Rose, everyone.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Take a seat. As we say in Barbies, take a pew.
I have no idea what you said, but I'll take the thing.
Don't you look fabulous?
Thank you.
Love it. And we're kind of coordinated as well. Look at this.
Yeah.
Unplanned
I got the
coordination.
So yeah, we're very fashion conscious here because this young lady has got a wonderful designer every week who kills me with it. I've got my own designer. This is my little brand. So what is your what the brands?
ASOS, Primark.
Say it with your chest, girl, because you look great.
Babes, yeah, it's a bit of ASOS. I don't know where the boots are from.
They're all good though. You're all good. You all look good. So that's the main important thing.
Thank you.
So Verona, first things first. Thank you for taking your time out in your mad busy schedule. You know what I mean? How's it been for you so far in
2021? It's been do you know what? I've been very blessed. I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've been having. I've been writing for Netflix. I've been working on Netflix show. Just doing some really cool stuff.
Well, first things first. Round of applause for Netflix.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's a big deal, right?
Do you feel that sometimes, like when you get to write for big organisations, you think, well, do you know what? This is now. I've made it. You start driving past houses you know you could have walked 2 years ago.
I mean, I've always looked at houses and I'm like, manifest. What do they say? Ask, believe, receive.
That's right.
I'm hoping. But no, not at all. Because I've done so many different shows where I you just never know what views it's going to get. You don't know where it's going to go. So I don't take anything for granted at this stage. I'm just trying to build my profile.
Oh, yeah.
But you got a good few things going on right now. So you, My Secret Crush.
Right,
Yeah, on ITV2. You're the host of that, and you've got a few other things going on, and you're now about to embark into the brave world of stand-up comedy, aren't you?
Yes, well, I've done 4 shows.
Oh!
I'm trying to be like you.
Well, I feel sorry for you, sorry. No, well done for you. Before we get into stand-up, I want to talk about the Secret Crush thing.
Yeah.
Right, so how did that come about?
I was just at home one day. I got an email from my agent saying, "This sounds like fun. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yes." What do you mean this sounds like fun? Yes, I want to do it. And that was it. They just requested me, and I waited for about a couple of months, and I was like, they're going to tell me they've gone with someone else. They're going to tell me they've gone with someone else. It's cool, you know. It wasn't mine at the beginning anyway, and they didn't. They, you know, used me, and it was amazing. We done 20 episodes, and
wow. Yeah, I've seen quite a few. I mean, you can take some images.
Jamie, you're crushing on someone.
Yeah, I've got a crush on my friend Nicola.
Okay.
We've been friends for like 8 years. I just knew that there was a connection there, but I never really was sure how to tell her.
Is Nicola your normal type? Is she the kind of person you would normally go after?
Well, I am actually bisexual, so like I've obviously dated guys and girls before. She's quite open, like she's quite a good friend, so hopefully it won't be a problem. I have previously dated a guy, and that was my last relationship. I was with a guy for around about 2 years. Most people don't take me seriously, like when I date girls. I just feel like this is serious and this is, you know, what I want.
So what is on the line for you here, though, today? If she says no, is that going to ruin your friendship?
Well, I'm hoping that, like, it won't ruin our friendship between me and her, but I'm just, you know, really thinking positively.
Jamie, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Walking in the room is probably going to be, like, really shocking for Nicola. Like, I don't think she's going to, like, know that it's me. Like, I just...
So did you always know that you wanted to go into showbiz then?
I always knew I wanted to perform. I always knew I wanted to be around creative people. I just love being in creative spaces. I thought I was going to be a singer when I was younger. I had dreams of like having a big crowd and running and going, oh, you know, doing all the slapping of the hands. And then one day, because I used to have singing lessons, I got told that I sound like I smoke 50 fags a day.
Wow.
And I realised I couldn't sing. So I mean, I was going to say, so I went into acting. That's not true. I always was like from very young. I done Helen O'Grady, like drama school and stuff like that, yeah. So I knew I wanted to perform, and I just can't believe I'm doing it. Oh my goodness, amazing.
Doing it well.
Get paid for it. Wow.
So the Brit schools, I mean, so much talent's come out of the Brit school. I mean, just like Adele, and you know, you quite familiar.
Yeah, Winehouse. I mean, the list is endless with the talent that comes out of the Brit school.
Why do you think the Brit school, most of the schools, has churned out so much talent?
I think so. I don't know if I don't know how it is now, but when I went to get in, like before you even get an audition, you're doing. I had to write a script. So you're 16 years old or 15 before you go, or some people go in year 9, so they're a lot younger. But I had to write a script before I even got invited for an audition. And then when you get your audition, I went and I did a group audition with loads of us. You know, like a. So I feel like that they're you know, the process of picking people is quite. You know, it's quite like rigorous. That's it. So I mean, when I went for my audition. The group one, my mum had bought me, bless her, like they said, oh, everyone come comfortable, casual sort of thing. Everyone was in black, you know, all black leggings, like what I know now, you know, when you're going for rehearsals, you wear
like a leotard or that kind of, yeah.
My mum bought me a suit, like a purple suit. So I went there and everyone was there, like, all comfortable, and I was there, like, rolling around on the floor in a big suit. So
purple like Barney.
Purple suit, yeah. Oh, I wonder where that is.
Oh.
Yeah, but I was rolling on the floor in my suit, and then you get another audition. I'm pretty sure it was, and then after that, you have an interview. And I remember them saying to me, "Oh, you can take your," because I was sat there, like, you know, like stuffed on the chair with my coat on and that, and they were like, "You can take your coat off." So I was like, "Oh, okay," you know. Yeah. So then done that, and then I think you go home. Pretty sure you go home, and then they send you a letter to tell you if you get in or not.
I bet that was so exciting. When that letter came, you must have been so nervous. Do you remember that day?
I remember. All I remember is being on the front, like sat in the front room. My mum coming in and saying, "Oh, your Brit school letter's here," and she opened it, and she was like, "Oh my god."
She opened it.
Yeah, she opened it, like, but she pretended that I didn't get in. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and she was like, "I'm so sorry because I'm gonna miss you so much." And I was like, you know, yeah. But I mean, I was 16, so I left home at 16 from Southampton and moved to London on my own. Yeah, I went there.
What part of London? I mean, you've left Southampton, Hampshire, land of the Craig Davids and the Theo Walcotts.
Yeah.
Same for Craig
Dodgers, yeah.
What was it like as a, and I'm saying this for a reason, a black person moving from Hampshire to London?
It was, I'll be honest here, this is going to sound very weird, right? So, I had been to London before because I got some cousins that had moved from Southampton to London. But it was.
It's like a window wash. Go and check it out first.
Don't check.
Other streets,
how it is.
and other streets paved with gold. Report back.
I'll be honest, it was a massive culture shock for me. It was amazing. So this is the first time I went to Brit school. I'm 16 years old. The first time I've had black friends ever. I didn't even have one black friend. So the only black people I knew was my family. Wow.
It's a good start though, good foundation.
Yeah, what, Brit school?
No.
Oh, my family. Yeah. Of course. But you know what I mean is, when you leave your house, you go into school, you're the one black person in your whole school. Do you know what I mean? You don't really realise. I didn't realise how strange it was, but it actually, it was such a shock for me that, because I mean, when I first came, people used to laugh at the way I spoke, because I spoke a bit different. They'd be like, oh, you sound like a white guy in a black guy's body, this kind of thing. And I think it was such a shock that I started changing how I spoke. And then also I decided to I wasn't going to talk to any of my white friends anymore from Southampton. So I was like, no. I kept one friend who was like my best friend.
One who credit?
No, it was the one that I was close to. She was my friend from younger. And yeah, it was weird. And then I was like, oh, this is amazing. Even now, when I see young school kids, I'm like, oh, I wish I had that experience of going to school. Because it does, going to school where I did, it's obviously made me who I am today. But I just feel like, I didn't have the experience of having someone to talk to.
Or identify with.
That's
it. Shared experiences from within the home, or just kind of a natural understanding of being a black female growing up, whether it's
being a minority,
in that space,
and sometimes feeling like, I remember saying to one of my friends once, this was my best friend, the one friend that I kept, I said to her, oh, I feel like that person's being racist to me. And she was like, oh, babe, no, they wouldn't be. You shouldn't think like that. But they, I'd go in the shop and they would serve the people behind me first. So this is how it was where I grew up, It was bonkers. And I had friends that I went to school with that when they were with certain aunties or uncles or even parents, you'd see them, and they pretend they don't know you. Wow. Yeah.
That's like in the workplace. At work, you see that person.
Well, on the street.
Yeah.
That's odd kind of workplace behaviour. But that must have been, I mean, obviously it shaped who you are today, but that must have been tough. And when you're a child, from at an early age, I guess you don't realise or notice your differences generally. But were you always aware from an early age that you were different, or was there a kind of a moment that was like, oh, I'm different to them?
I think I was always aware because my parents were very much all this colorism stuff. It was big in my household, so I was always aware. And also I grew up in the most racist area in Southampton, where it was NF Central, the National Front. Yeah. All of those skinheads, I grew up in that area. So from even the age, I remember getting kicked off my tractor. I was on a little tractor, getting kicked off my tractor at 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
And then I remember my mum coming out and being like, oh, you must think we came off an effing banana boat. Wait till my husband gets home. And my dad was a big guy, he's a bodybuilder. So we never got really any trouble in that area again.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, my dad would tump people up,
Standard.
Yeah. So we became those people that don't like black people.
But you're
right. And I'm just when people go, oh, you're my black bitch. No, I'm not that girl, so you can't do that. You can't say that to me. You might be able to say that so-and-so over there, but you can't, I'm not playing those games, you know what I mean? But when we moved from there, we then moved to a nicer area.
London.
But still Southampton. But then my brother got attacked and got set on fire, and then I got beaten up years later by 20 men. Yeah, so, but not in I try not to say I'm not making light heart of it, but I wouldn't say that we were ever victims, as in I'm not a victim kind of person, because we will fight. You get me? Yeah. But stuff happened. Do you know what I mean? Things happened.
Wow.
Yeah, things happened. My brother someone lit a lighter and said to him, I've got something for you, and sprayed oven cleaner on him and burnt his face. Yeah.
Burnt his face.
Yeah, as a kid.
This is where, like I said, as a 16-year-old leaving Southampton, moving to London, and encountering your first group of black friends, and then you're being judged by them. It's a similar way for myself, as in growing up in East London, where predominantly I had my core black friends, but the majority of my associates were white. I've got a Cockney accent. I don't shy away from that. And there's this narrative that there's black is in a pigeonhole.
Yeah.
And we are so not that.
Yeah.
And I think that not just, I'm not talking to any other community, I'm talking as black people. So we recognise that we don't just talk with a Yardie accent.
Yeah.
We don't just talk street. We are multifaceted.
Yeah, we are, but I think just going beyond that as well, we are not all homogenous beings. We're not all the same. We're not all replicas of each other. We are all. We may have shared experiences, but we all have different experiences as well, and differences based on our experiences. Based on, for example, you living in Southampton. I'll take it to myself, based on me going to a grammar school in North Finchley, growing up, coming from Harlesden. That was a massive shock for me, and probably kind of in reverse. I kind of felt like I was so comfortable in my own environment, and then going to this school where you had all of these mostly white girls, very rich, all the teachers were white, and it was a massive shock for me, and it took a lot of adjustment for me, because I felt out of place, and I felt like I didn't belong.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Even down to myself, like doing stand-up for the first time, I was performing in pubs where growing up, that's a place where black men didn't go. Yeah. We used to run for them places or fight for them places. And this is why the platforms like we got here today is like, I identify with you not just as an artist, but you have a story to tell. You know what I mean? The same way you have a story, and we should be sharing our stories to empower each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? And tell our children this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not if it's road. So we're gonna play a clip of one of your roles in a very good friend of ours. You're welcome.
Okay.
She's the one, Freddie.
Oh, she's the one. Yes.
She's the one.
Yeah.
You and Kane Brown.
Yo, my brother.
Are you Charmaine?
So a man's late in it, I had to wait for the weed man to pop along in them things there,
On your gram and other little characters, you play these roles pretty well, considering that they're not your people.
Feel free.
You have order. I'm not saying. That is my
I'm playing.
No, I know you're playing, but let me tell you something. I've acted like that before in real life. Do you get what I'm saying? When I was growing up, I'm an actor.
We've all done it.
We've all done it, yeah. But I'm not saying, all I'm saying is, I've explained myself. I've explained myself clear enough. I'm not saying it's like sometimes like...
You are uniquely you.
Yes.
And that's I feel that, to paraphrase if you don't mind, I feel that's what you're saying, is you're uniquely you, and not necessarily, you don't necessarily buy into the notion that just because you're of a certain colour...
Race is a social... I believe race is a social contract.
Oh, it's definitely a social contract. It's and again, that's another debate that we could have, but I studied specifically that at university, and race is something that was socially constructed. Racism is an ideology, a political ideology, just like socialism, just like conservatism, and it was developed to justify, obviously, among other things, the transatlantic slave trade and dealing with people from the motherland as subhuman.
And I'm proud of you, man. Well done, man.
Oh, thank you so much for having me as well. Thank you.
It's been fabulous.
It's been amazing. Yeah. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show. I'd just like to thank our guests today on the Quiz's Comedy Lounge Extra Time Friday. We had King Cheff.
We did.
And Kerth Gumbs as well. Two amazing chefs. And Ms. Verona Rose.
Woo!
Be back next week. Harvey Weinstein, Prince Andrew, and.
to each other.